What is good, YouTube? I'm back again with another video. We're gonna talk about Aaron Gordon not trying to get an offer sheet, not really observing all his options. Um, Definitely a surprise seeing him resign to a 4-year, $84 million deal with the Magic. No, I ain't gonna say surprise. It's just more or less like I would think that he would try to market a little bit more, even though Orlando most likely was gonna match any offer. And this deal, 4 year, $84 million ain't that bad. They don't really have no cap space to give anybody. Um, this is not a premier destination. They got Dwight Howard through the draft. Let's be real. They got Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway through the draft. Nobody really. Tracy McGrady was what the biggest free agent that they had, but when they got him, he wasn't a superstar. He developed into a superstar, but when they gave him the contract, they hoped that he would become that, and he didn't really even do that much there anyway. Shaq at least got you to the finals, and Dwight got you to the finals. Tracy McGrady filled up seats, put on the show, became a Hall of Famer mostly because of Orlando. So he has really done them well. But at the same time, that's really about it. Rashard Lewis, he's not a superstar either, but he was a good complementary player, and he was necessary for them to beat Cleveland and have that floor space for Dwight. So they've been able to get some guys that can potentially become franchise guys, guys that was in a career path where they wanted to prove that they can play and become an all-star. I feel like in the East, especially with LeBron James gone, and a lot of people like Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Paul Millsap, they all left to the West. Um, I definitely think that is an opening for Aaron Gordon. The problem is they don't have a defensive identity. Mo Bamba is young. He has to still learn. He has to feel his way out to the game. Summer League will be a good step for him. But not only that, he hasn't played one game in the entire NBA. He hasn't played against the best players at all. So we don't really know what to expect from him. Nikola Vucevic, I think they need to get rid of him. They tried him for too many years. He's eating up their cap. He's not a terrible contract, but at the same time, he's starting to get phased out. He's not a rim protector. He is a good scorer, but not really a stretcher. And at the same time, you know, he's not helping you win any games. This team has been one of the worst teams since he's been there in after Dwight Howard left in 2011. So Aaron Gordon is a bright sign because they got Victor Oladipo, didn't really work out, didn't really fit. Alfred Payton didn't work out or fit. Hazonia most likely going to leave too. And they still have Jonathan Isaac, who is a project. He has a while to develop. Aaron Gordon, like I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, that he's a guy that developed very good. He became a solid player, took over some games, dominated some games, had some flashes of greatness. He just got to put it together consistently. If he's able to put it together consistently, he could be a star in this league. 17 points is nothing to sneeze at, even though he is putting up empty numbers because it's not going to wins. But you can put up empty numbers and still make it to the All-Star game. We know plenty of stars that never even won 40 games that still made it to All-Star game. So if he's trying to get accolades at this point, he's at that 21, 22, 23 mark, which means he's starting to fill out the game. He's starting to get the knowledge. He's been in the league for a couple years. He knows what their game plans is. He knows what they're saying on the scouting reports. Now it's time for him to just go get serious, work more on that jump shot, work more on your catch and shoot, come off some screens and keep the ball moving. He is a good passer for his size and a good passer for his position, but this guy has unlimited potential. I still think he has a long way to go, and that's a positive thing with Orlando, to get a guy that you see improve year after year, and you see it, and you see in the development, you see the change. He couldn't knock down a three to save his life. He couldn't even score consistently to save his life when he got drafted. Now he's a guy that you can get the ball to, and he can get you buckets every once in a while. He has to continue to improve on that, his ball handling, his IQ, his shot selection, these things that he's going to develop. Like I said, he's not even 23 years old, I believe. So the guy, I'm not putting that much pressure on him. Actually, yeah, he's 22 years old. He'll be 23 when the season starts. So this guy is super young. He averaged a career high 17 points, 33 from three, 43 from the field, 69% from the free throw line. He gave you a career high in rebounds, a career high in assists. And like I said, he'll be 23 in the season start. So I like him. He has potential. He actually does have superstar potential if he's able to put the work in and consistently adapt and adjust to the NBA game. Because once he gets good at one thing, they're going to try to make that into a weakness by taking it away. He has to continue to add moves. He has to continue to add different facets to his game and be more versatile. If he's able to do that, he can be a 20-point scorer. He's only, what, 2 points away, 2.1 points away from being a 20-point scorer. And that's basically a lock almost for a player in the East. And he can be that player. So we'll see what happens. I like Aaron Gordon. He's athletic. He's mobile. He can play the three. He can play the four. He can rebound for either of those positions. He can stretch the floor out to a certain extent. He has gotten better, like I said before. He's not a knockdown three-point shooter. He's not a marksman, but it's good to see improvement. You still have Fournier, a guy that still has to develop too, but he's a solid player. You get Mo Bamba, you have Bismack, you have Vucevic. They're a couple trades away. They're a couple drafts away, but we said that a couple years ago. So I still want to know, is Aaron Gordon their guy? What is their identity? How is they going to utilize him so he can become more efficient, so he can get to his spots? Because right now, Aaron Gordon is just a guy that is benefiting of getting a lot of shots up. And that's what happens when you don't have no go-to guy. That's what happens when you don't have a superstar. Other players just fill up the stats. We seen it with Brooklyn. We done seen it with Sacramento. You get the touches, and next thing you know, you put up numbers. So they have to go. They have to figure out what they're going to do with this roster. They have to figure out what direction they're going in, because at one point I felt like they were just drafting best talent available, and even when they was drafting these guys with superstar potential or potential to be an all-star, they was trading them away, or they never really improved under Orlando. Even Tobias Harris, he's played good, but they benched him. Then he started, then they traded him, then he had a good season. Victor Oladipo became an all-star, even though he didn't really fit or play well with Russ. He still put the work in and became a better player. I think it could be coaching. I think it could be their development staff. I heard that they fired their development staff because they really wasn't getting that much progress out of their players. But they have to find a way to bring a winning culture to this Orlando team, because it's just disgusting to watch them go to the lottery every year and not even really get anything, because these players are not developing into stars or anything. They're becoming role players with the Orlando Magic. They tried the new coach. I like Frank Vogel, but he doesn't have enough talent to really. He don't have a defensive anchor. He doesn't have a superstar. He don't even have that many ball handlers. Like Jonathan Simmons was a good pickup for them last year, and that's their big name free agent really that year. So I don't know what the heck is going on in Orlando. It's a place that you want to stay in. Beautiful weather, a lot of things to do, entertainment. And it's a place where they looking for a star, so he can get these minutes, he can get these touches, and he might be the guy that they drafted years ago. He has felt out a lot of his game. He need to polish it a little bit more, let it shine, and at the end of the day, continue to put the work in. And if he's able to do that, get a little more better with the jump shot, get better with his stop, his catch and shoot threes, work more on his handles and his pull up game, like he was doing in that Uncle Drew movie. If he can pull up like that, if he can post up every once in a while, if he can shoot his corner three, and he can get out in transition, get some layups and some dunks, that's what, 6, 7, 8 points a game right there just for a transition. If he can do that, his field goal percentage should go up just because he's getting wide open layup in the dunk. If he can knock down a corner three at 36%, he almost at 47, 48% from the field. And this is just smart playing doing the right things, doing the little things. If he can just do the small things and just build upon the rest of his game by polishing it up and, cleaning up his game, he can get easy basket because he's an athlete. He's mobile. He's quick. He's fast. He can jump out the gym. So at the end of the day, I like this. And $84 million is not really that much, because who else are you going to give it to? Like I said, you don't have another free agent this year that really was entertaining and going to Orlando. So it's either you let him go by letting somebody or give him an offer sheet, and then you try to get Isaac. You lose Hazonia too this year. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. But this is a good move for Orlando, because this is a guy that continues to develop and shows that he's been improving, something that they haven't really had in Orlando over the course of these years since Dwight Howard left. So hopefully he becomes the guy that we thought he would be. He looks like he's on that pace. Now we're going to see if he can get to that next level and join the all-star caliber, then try to get to the elite level. But he has all the talent in the world. He has the body. He has the size. All he got to do is continue to brush up and polish up his game, and he'll be fine. So let me know what you guys think about Aaron Gordon. Do you think he can be a superstar? Do you think he will be a role player? Do you think he's just a piece that can be a third or fourth option? Do you think he can be the number one option? Do you think he can lead them to the playoffs? Do you think they need the coaching staff fired again? Do you think the organization just need to find a new owner because they haven't really did anything? They haven't even came close to the playoffs, and they haven't even got a superstar on this roster since Dwight. And all of that is true, but eventually they'll get it right just by staying in the NBA. They got it right with Dwight. They got it right with teammate. They got it right with Shaq. You don't want to really rely on that because that can take decades. But getting Aaron Gordon to stay on a decent deal, not really a big overpay, he can live up to that contract. People still gonna have interest around him because of his age, and as long as he's young and has this type of potential, he's always gonna be an asset and a player that people will want. Even with this $84 million extension, and it's over 4 years, so I like it for both sides. And worst case scenario, you can trade them to get another guy or trade them to a team and get a lottery pick. And at the end of the day, if they do that, they did it with Victor. They did it with a couple other guys. They tried Serge Ibaka and got rid of him for a bag of peanuts. So I don't know what they're really doing, but Aaron Gordon, this is a good deal for both sides, and he's going to be an asset regardless, and they're going to be in the lottery regardless, so they have a top 10 pick anyway, even if it don't work out in these 4 years. Best case scenario, they're a playoff team but not a contender, and they can't really get people to come down to Orlando because of this losing. This is a guy that possibly, if he develops, can get people to come down there because if he can play, if he can shine, people will want to come down to Orlando to play with him. That's a team that can possibly become a championship contender because we don't know how the NBA will be looking 4 or 5 years from now. But if he does develop, that's a guy that can get people to come down there. And that's what you want if you can't get them through the draft or through free agency. So check out my website, NosticPlayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page on NosticPlayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook, Quinn Wade, Basketball Gnosis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about Aaron Gordon.